Now, the Botanist, this is the world's best gin. I'm telling you the truth here. There's no gin that is made with such high standard. You all obviously know Islay. Islay is the world's greatest whiskey island, where you have Ardbeg, Beaumont, Bunnahabhain, Lagavulin, Caolila, Bruichladdich. Did I say Beaumont? Anyway, this island is tiny. Have you been to Waiheke Island in Auckland? Islay is the size of Waiheke Island, but it's got about 10 of the world's best distilleries on it. The whole island.
Sorry.
How rude!
You were talking about how good it was.
How rude. I'm so sorry about that. Please forgive me. So on Islay, as you know, the whiskies are heavily peated. The reason they peated the whiskies on Islay was because there's no trees on Islay. No large enough trees anyway, they're all like shrubs. And because it's right on the west coast of Scotland, it gets absolutely pelted by the Atlantic, like huge storms there a lot. And so you can see it there, little island there. Island is not actually there, that map is like incorrect in the way of geography. That is like a drunk Scotsman. Okay. So the Botanist is made by Jim McEwen, who is one of the owners, or previous owners, and the head distiller of Bruichladdich Distillery. And what he's done is he's associated 22 native Islay botanicals. Now on Islay, it's a little microclimate. There's 2,500 species of shrubs and small plants and herbs and spices that grow on Islay that don't grow anywhere else in Scotland. So they sort of Jim McEwen went to the two famous botanists that study on the island a lot, and he said to these doctors, of these 2,500 native botanicals to Islay, surely some of them are good for making gin, which ones? And they gave him a list of about 100 of them, and he made a distillation of 100 different distillates from these botanicals, and he discovered that 22 of them were fantastic. So what he does, he takes 9 of the standard gin botanicals that I've mentioned earlier, your juniper, your lemon, your coriander, your orris root, your angelica root, nutmeg, clove, there's no clove in this though, but nutmeg, cuba berries, all sorts. There's 250 botanicals used to make gin. And anyway, so he's got those 9 standard gin botanicals and then the 22 native Islay botanicals. So there's actually 31 botanicals in this gin. And for a gin so complex with so much character and so many ingredients, it's so perfectly balanced. He always bottles the spirits at 46%. He never bottles anything under 46, and the gin is no different. So that's 46. When you're tasting it, try to keep your mouth closed. You'll get too much alcohol vapor.
Comparatively dry.
Really dry style.
Yeah.
It's like a real classic London style. And so he played around for a long time, and he tried all different base grain spirits, and he just came straight back to English wheat spirit. He said the English have got that right, using a wheat spirit. Is that clean, pure? So he's importing the wheat spirit from England, but everything else from that stage is all 100% Islay. Bottled on the island, cut with Islay spring water, like whiskies. And I just love that. It makes a great martini. It makes an outstanding, gin and tonic. Just with a whisper of a nice tonic.
So if they're importing spirit, they're then redistilling it with the botanicals.
You've got it. So that spirit goes into a special still. You don't want, because it's going to a still with botanicals.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be running a single malt through that later. They've redesigned it, their very own old 100-year-old copper still.
Okay.
And they've re-engineered it to be specific for this gin that they make. And they've called it Ugly Betty. It's actually a Le Monde pot still.
Yeah.
And the Scotch Whisky Association tried to combine a pot and a column still, so that when they make their blended whiskey, they didn't have to blend pot and column distillates. But it didn't work. It was a complete disaster. Only 3 were made. Jim actually ended up buying one of them, re-engineered it to a specific gin still. It's very similar to a Carter Head still, like Bombay Sapphire, with the chambers inside the neck of the still. Right? So in this still, Ugly Betty, the high proof grain spirit is going to macerate with the 7 botanicals, okay, for 24 hours. It's going to be heated up to 90 degrees. So the vapor of that classic gin mix is going to rise up through the hard packed and dried native Islay botanicals in the chamber, so it's a vapor infusion technique with the native botanicals.
Yeah.
And then it's cooled and condensed back into a liquid, cut 50-50 with water to bring it to 46.
Awesome.
So they're becoming much more liberal, obviously, with sharing what they're mashing and what they're running through
They are.
in the baskets, because that
Yeah.
used to be
Impossible to know.
They would
Exactly.
never tell you.
No, I know they are.
That's
Actually, to be honest, like I really researched to find all this out, and I've got people I know that I ask, and as soon as I find out, I'm telling everyone.
Yeah.
Because I used to want to know all that stuff,
Yeah.
and it is hard. They don't send you a sheet telling you all that. That's me. Like,
That's why I
hounding
always
people.
always
It's
kind of enjoyed that about gin.
Mm.
As kind of the mystique
Yeah.
of secret recipe, what are they doing, where are they matching, where are they basketing, but it's now there's such a range though, it's
Totally.
kind of good to know
Yeah.
what they are actually doing.
Yeah, and 10 years ago, London Dry wasn't protected. The London Dry style wasn't protected. You could make anything and call it London Dry. You could take high proof grain spirit, mix it with artificial flavours, with water, and call it London Dry gin. Now, London Dry gin is protected. You can still make it anywhere in the world. It's not protected by region. It's protected by the practice. You have to use natural ingredients. You have to use dried, real botanicals. You can't add artificial flavouring. And you must do the maceration process for 24 hours, and you must then only cut it with water. You can't add anything. You can't. Often what they used to do too, to make more quantity, is they would put heaps of botanicals in, and they would leave the spirit on those botanicals for weeks. So it'd be so strong, and then they'd distill that, and it was like the absolute intense essence. And then at bottling time, they would be like a tiny bit of that, and then straight neutral grain spirit, and then water. And it was just a way of making their distillation go a lot further. And it's the really cheap way. It's called the 2-shot method. But the 1-shot method is just with the one distillation, cutting it only once with water. So, all good. So if it says London Dry, it's a real deal.